It's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And this is CarEdge Live for Thursday, October 17th, with your hosts, me, Ray, repping the Phoenix Suns. Go Suns! And, well, my son himself, Zach. How are you today, handsome?
Happy Thursday, y'all. I am doing great. Today's show is brought to you by CarEdge. Putting the edge in car buying. Unlock the best deal. Save thousands. Love that. If you're in the market to buy a car, you can get all sorts of free resources right here if you click buy a car. If you're researching vehicles, please come to caredge.com and do some research here. We have all sorts of great information, like a D+ value rating on this BMW 2 Series. You have all sorts of great information accessible and available right here. And if I hit the back button real quick, we also offer a car buying service, a concierge car buying service. Let us know what car you're in the market for, new or used, if it's 2019 or newer, and if you're buying or leasing, and let our team do the work for you. Dad, car prices are too damn high, and car dealership guy with the inside scoop. We're going to be talking about the brand, the automaker that we do not name, and their strategy to finally try and drive some volume. For those of you that have been playing along at home or haven't been playing along at home, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram sales are plummeting, and it's a direct result of jacking up their prices. This is also happening with a variety of other automakers, and we've got the inside scoop, Dad, on how Stellantis is going to try and get some market share back here. They are determined. I don't want to say have a fire sale, but they're doing a sell down, and I think it's because the automaker finally realized they priced their cars too high.
It could be scroll down on that tweet or whatever we call keep scrolling, keep scrolling, and it says some Stellantis dealers feel more optimistic about the brands about the future after wrapping up a three-day dealer council meeting in Detroit. May I say, having spent 43 years in the automobile business, that if you spent 3 days at a dealer meeting with your manufacturer and you didn't walk out of there feeling better, well, they just weren't blowing enough smoke. Okay.
Okay, so you've been to these things before. You've been to these things. Help us understand, because what's happened here, gang. The interesting aspect to this is Stellantis jacked up the prices of cars. Sales have plummeted. Dealers are screwed. Now
Yes.
they're trying to change all the staff, all the executives, and essentially their strategy is we're going to ship you fewer vehicles. We're going to regain market share. We're going to increase incentives and increase your profit margin. Like, we're going to do everything we can to try and help you, dealers. And the way they communicated this was in a 3-day event with dealers. You've been to those events before, Dad. Is it a lot of BS?
I used to say, I used to say to my reps and the factory people when we'd have certain meetings, I would declare what I would call a smoke-free zone. In other words, I won't try and blow smoke up your ass if you don't try to blow smoke up my ass. Okay, because that's what they do. That's what these meetings are. Okay, it is. Um, we failed, and now we're going to tell you how we're so much better, how we've learned from our mistakes, what we're going to do to improve things, how we're going to get you to buy in. And one of the ways we're going to get you to buy in is we're going to ply you with as much liquor as we possibly can.
Was there a lot of drinking at these events that you went to?
Well, yeah. I mean, after meetings, they're in hotels and places, and they all have bars. And I know very few people in the automobile industry that don't drink. One of my trainers, when I first got into the industry, his idea of finding customers was to find a fellow drunk at the bar he was at that night. Okay, so there's a lot of.
We're not lightly about over drinking, like personal connections to those tragic stories.
There's a lot of that goes on. Yeah. So you go to these meetings. If you walk out of that meeting not thinking that they're going to improve things, they have done something dramatically wrong. And so, the dealers that were there better have walked out feeling that, okay, they understand now. And the key is, will the actions from the manufacturer actually match their words from the meeting?
which is
That's the
at its
key.
core, will prices go lower? Because we know that is the big realization from this automaker and many others, is that the pricing of these vehicles is too high. And it seems like that. Again, this is secondhand information, right?
Yes.
This is car dealership guy. Thank you, car dealership guy. Thank you, Yossi, for getting this information and then sharing it. This is third hand information at this point, but this is a signal that these automakers are finally waking up and saying, oh crap, we can't sustain our business model pricing consumers out the way we have been. My favorite line in all of this, Dad, leadership
Yeah.
changes, new vice president of US sales, Matt Thompson, more engaged than predecessor.
Yeah.
I feel like we're getting play-by-play commentary like you would in a boxing match or something like that, but for an automaker that's failing.
Yeah, I'm glad you caught that, because that one caught my eye. Of course, the reason sales have plummeted 20% was because, well, obviously his predecessor wasn't nearly as engaged as he should have been. He wasn't putting his ear to the ground to hear the rumble of the dealers screaming, the prices of these vehicles are too damn high. Okay, so yeah, it's all part of the smoke. Okay, trust me, these events are not smoke-free zones. The whole concept of this is somebody's getting smoke blown up their butt somewhere in these meetings. It's just the way it is. And so yeah, hopefully they realize they have to sell down inventory, which I don't know, we've been spouting about for 3 years, 2.5 years. They have to lower the damn prices. Yep. They have raised the prices of their vehicles out of reach of their customer base that has been established over the history of these brands,
which has been a loyal customer base. Jeep owners have been very loyal to the brand. Dodge owners very loyal to the brand. We also published just the other day, Dad, I should pull it up here on the screen, and I will actually. For those of you that are unfamiliar, if you go to CarEdge.com, under research, we have a blog. And on the blog, we've been publishing this past week the top 5 most negotiable cars, SUVs, luxury vehicles. There's a lot on this list that are Stellantis products because they are so oversupplied. So this very loyal fan base, consumer, whatever you want to call it, has been turning away from them because the prices just got so unattainable. Actually, you know me, I always love doing this. Let's go to the car search really quickly.
What they've done is they've abandoned those loyal customers, and yeah,
the Compass at 35,000 is great, but the Jeep Grand Cherokee next to it at 55,000. I mean, some of these prices though, the Compass, Dad, you're also getting a Jeep Compass, but actually these prices aren't terrible. They're not good, not terrible. Nothing over 70 grand on the first page of results.
No. I'm just saying, you look at what they're trying to do, and they're trying, at least at this point, verbally, they're trying to correct the error of their ways. And it's going to cost them. It's going to cost them a lot of money. Also in that tweet was, well, they want to help build dealer profits again, because so many of these dealers have become unprofitable because of the cost of carrying their inventory.
Yeah.
They want to get dealer profit back up to 2% of net. Okay, meaning that 2 cents out of every dollar after expenses makes it to profit, to the bottom line. Well, on a national average, they're sitting at 0.9%, less than 1 cent out of every dollar that these stores on average take in finally make it to the bottom line. Well, most dealerships today, that number is probably somewhere between 3 and 5%, not 1 and 2%. These numbers are so far below industry average, it's frightening, which is why their dealers were starting to revolt and publish public letters to the higher ups.
20-second timeout. We got to defend ourselves, Pops. Maurice. Yesterday, video title saying car prices are plummeting, but the video was about electric cars, and y'all said it wasn't clickbait, but it was. Then you changed the title. Now today, Y'all shady. I just want to comment. We did not change the title on yesterday's video. This is clickbait free week. The title of yesterday's video was electric vehicle prices are plummeting. And we talked about how electric vehicle prices are plummeting. We are not shady, Maurice. Do we typically play the YouTube game where we have clickbait titles and thumbnails? Absolutely. Are we not doing that this week? Absolutely. You cannot come at us this week, Maurice. Next week, you can come back at us. But we are doing good this week. I'm defending us.
And if they want to complain at all about yesterday's title, it could have been used EV prices are plummeting. But guess what? EV prices are plummeting on the used car side and to some degree on the new car side. But
honestly, Dad, you could go pick up a Hyundai Ioniq lease right now, Ioniq 5 for like $250 a month. So you know what? They are plummeting on the new car side too.
And there will be people today that will comment that, well, it was a clickbait title. Yeah, sure, because cars are too expensive and automakers are finally realizing it. That'll be clickbait for somebody. Yeah,
we're trying, folks. I just wanted to defend my honor as I really am making a conscious effort this week and appreciate everyone still tuning in and supporting us as we do this. And hopefully, Maurice, as you go to buy a vehicle, CarEdge and CarEdge.com can help you out. So we are grateful that you are here.
Even with the clickbait, Maurice will still help you. Okay,
there
are nuggets interspersed in what we talk about every day. Whether you can find them nuggets, that's another story. But there are nuggets on a daily basis.
Dad, we've got other data that recently came out pertaining to affordability, and I'm going to put you on the spot here. This is the new vehicle affordability index that Cox Automotive and Moody's Analytics puts out every single month. I want to put you on the spot. I'll put you and the community on the spot. What do you think the average auto loan interest rate, this is blended new and used vehicle, is at the end of September? Average auto loan interest rate.
New and used?
Excuse me. This is for new vehicles only. I'm sorry. I just said it was blended, but this is only for new vehicles.
New vehicles. What do I think the average new car interest rate was for September?
Yep.
8.97%.
Not quite that low. Let's get some other guesses in the chat. We do, however, have good news on this front. It has gone down, so I will let everyone know. 8.69, 10%, 8.6. Okay, I will use a happy photo tomorrow. I think putting the rainbows in the titles or in the thumbnails makes it happy, but heard Joe, we've got from 7.4%. Does this include the 0%? Yes, this also includes the subvented interest rates and all that. Dad, the average new car interest rate at the end of September was down 30 basis points to 9.53, the lowest average rate in more than a year. So let that sink in for a second. Good news. We are at 9.53, which was down 30 basis points. Okay. But it's still very high, right? Average monthly payment on a new car. What do you think it was at the end of September, Dad?
I think it was an airplane, a 747.
You think it was a 747? Let's get some other guesses in the chat. That's a good guess, Dad. 747. You could have gone 777. Yeah. Make a 757 if I'm not mistaken. Probably make some other variants that I'm just filibustering.
Yeah.
$740 is the average new car payment, which is actually up barely 0.2%. Yeah. So you can see here, Dad, we've got kind of some good news in the sense that interest rates are coming down a little bit, and that's primarily driven by 0% financing, things like that. But the typical monthly payment is still the same at $740. That's down from the peak, all-time peak of $795 back in December of 2022. And you can see here, it would take, on average, someone 36 weeks worth of income to pay and to buy a new car. I mean, that is insane. You're putting 36 weeks worth of your income to work against your new car.
Well, the good news is you've left yourself 15.8 weeks for everything else that you might want to have in your life.
Come on. I mean, that is an asinine statement what you just said. It is actually true. That is ridiculous.
Yeah. Which is why you can afford the car and that big screen, but everything else, you want to eat, stuff like that, out of the question.
And this is significantly better than what it had been, right? You guys can barely see the chart. Let me scroll down. I mean, it had been all the way up at almost 42 weeks worth of income to buy a new car. So
Well,
no wonder the
yeah.
automakers are finally waking up to this and having to, operate differently, because this is just unsustainable.
I
We say it all the time, but it's just unsustainable. And thank goodness it seems like people are finally listening. The people that make the decisions at the OEM level, the dealers, all of that, like, they're finally listening a little bit.
I'm pretty sure that if we were to go back maybe 4 years ago in some of our videos, that you will find videos where we discussed that these type of this type of pricing is unsustainable, that we can't stay at these levels and really see sustained growth in the automobile industry. And we really haven't seen any type of sustained growth in the automobile industry. We're going to sell somewhere between, I don't know, 15 million and maybe 15.8 million new vehicles this year. And when I say that, you'll go, oh, well, that's a lot of vehicles. It is. But what percentage of that, even on the high side at 15.8 million, is going to be fleet sales?
Yeah, a
Okay,
lot of it.
and not absolute retail sales to American consumers. It is, and these are numbers that realistically have been somewhat stagnant for about 50 years. You would think that if I'm probably wrong. Because in my mind, I would think that if there were enough entry level vehicles out there, new vehicles, that you could sell the proverbial poop ton of those vehicles. And I say that all the time.
The
And I
issue is
think,
Nissan. Look at Nissan, man. They're struggling so much.
and so what I was going to say, even though I say that all the time, the realization is that those who try that fail. Okay, so maybe there is no way to grow this stagnant automotive market, because there's just, even if you get your hand, and maybe it is because we have made people feel bad for buying something relatively inexpensive, because it would indicate to everybody else, well, they're not as fortunate as everybody else. And so you don't want all these people psychologically running around, just feeling terrible about their positions in life. Maybe if they made owning a cheap small car acceptable and fun and desirable, then maybe somebody could sell them, because there's got to be a market there. There just has to be. You
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
convince me that there isn't, or that there wouldn't be, but you can convince me that, well, there hasn't been.
I hear you loud and clear, Pops. You are, I think, spot on. But then you look at the Nissan sales data, and it's like, oh, Nissan is the more affordable car that people should want to get their hands on. And Nissan's, like, they're not selling. So there's a storyline there, a thread to pull on
Yes.
there. We've got
You look
from
at the
Ali.
Versa, you look at the Mirage. I
Yeah.
mean, there are, and nobody seems to want to buy them because, well, nobody wants to say, oh, yeah, I drive a Mirage. Everybody wants to say, well, I drive a Maxima.
I hear you.
I drive a Pathfinder. I drive a big ass F-150. Nobody wants to say, oh, I drive this little piece of poop Mirage.
It's not a piece of poop.
It's
You're on dance duty.
Yes. Oh, here we go. Thank you, Alexander. I needed to get this in before tonight's game because I'm going to be running up and down that court. Okay, there we go.
What? You've got here from Alexander as well. Nissan dealers are deeply discounting their Titan. Got one at $18,000 off plus 0% financing for 60 months. Yet people want to go with the other brands and pay close to MSRP. Yeah, exactly. There are great options out there if you can look past maybe some of the brand awareness work that Mercedes-Benz has done, BMW has done, whatever, Ford Raptors, all that fun stuff. Dad, I want to make everyone aware of a brand new capability back at CarEdge.com. Go to CarEdge.com, click on either login or sign up here in the top right, and you will be greeted by a brand new vehicle dashboard. You can track the vehicles in your garage at home right here on CarEdge.com. And as you add vehicles to your favorites, you'll have access to even more information a nice new user interface. Would love some feedback from our community as they use this. But again, just go to caredge.com, click on either login or sign up, and it'll take you right there. Work in progress. We're always going to try and make it better. Dad, you ready for our favorite segment of the show? This one's a sad one, though, so I can't have you too excited.
Really? You got to be kidding me.
All right, we said there was going to be damaged vehicles as a result of various hurricanes going on in Florida. Here is a Kia dealership, Dad.
Yes.
Hurricane Helene, totaling over 700
Wait.
vehicles.
Oh my God, what the hell happened to that one? Is that an electric vehicle?
It must have been. It caught on fire.
Wow. Well, salt water and lithium batteries is not a good mix. That much I do know. How many vehicles were lost?
730.
Ooh, my God, their RDR total for the month retail delivery report total is going to be huge. That is unfortunate. That's one way to clear out your inventory. Unfortunately, there's no profit associated with clearing out that inventory. And your insurance carrier is probably going to drop you in the near future. But hey, the bright side is you'll have all new inventory at some point. It is unfortunate. Hopefully, those vehicles that were damaged, that the dealer might collect an insurance claim on, hopefully those vehicles don't somehow make it to auction somewhere and get sold that way. I mean, I would just
that's the scary thought here. Like, that's what can happen, is that these vehicles
absolutely
get totaled and then they end up finding their like title washing. That's a big issue, especially in the South. So yeah, hopefully these things don't show up on dealer auctions and then on dealer lots as trying to be sold. But yeah, there were tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of vehicles in the path of those storms, and they got totaled. They got hit, man. They are done.
I have lived through blizzards and things of that nature. Haven't had to live through floods or anything like that. But yeah, it's difficult when you try and I mean, I remember when it was Admiral Nissan in Pleasantville, New Jersey, and we got like a giant ass blizzard, which I guess you call a gab, a giant ass blizzard. And it literally, it took us 4 days to move everything, remove the snow, be able to set back up to have like a viable front line of cars. It was just, and everybody in the dealership, whether you were a tech or a salesman, it didn't matter. You didn't have cars to work on. So you had lot duty of helping to clean the lot and clean the cars and move the cars. And it was just absolutely miserable. It is
not fun.
No. I say this occasionally. I am ever so thankful that I don't work in a dealership anymore. And that I just get to hang out here at the shore where my heater stopped working. But that's okay.
From Baron, thank you, Baron. We appreciate the kind contribution. Did the dealer have gap insurance? I imagine dealers have policies that protect them.
They have policies, but they have general umbrella policies. And,
I don't think the dealer's out of anything in a situation like this. I'd be shocked if they're out of something. Like, you'd have to be operating. I imagine your franchise agreement like stipulates that you have all sorts of insurance requirements for when this happens.
Well, you have, you'd be foolish not to have insurance. I mean, how could you not have insurance? Could there be a deductible per car? Even if it was $500 per car, and there were 700 cars. What's that? I can't do the math. What's 3 times or 5 times 7?
35.
So is that like 35,000?
No, higher.
350,000?
Yeah.
In deductible that so is the dealer getting whole if there was a deductible per unit? Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah. Yeah, so these things are a major challenge. J-Max saying, but the manufacturer will report them as sales and make their numbers. Yeah, I mean, this is the whole fallacy of the multi-tier sales system, OEM to dealer. OEM sold it when they sold it to the dealer. They don't care when the dealer. I mean, they do care.
they don't get reported as a retail delivery, and that's what the numbers are that we get. The beginning of every month. Those are supposed to be retail deliveries, including fleet sales. Now, if you wanted to get into semantics, I suppose if you sold 700 vehicles to your insurance company, you could claim that as a fleet sale to a degree, but I don't know.
Who knows how these things ultimately show up. Again, folks, if we can help you out with anything, CarEdge.com. I just made a TikTok before we came on here. I posted it over on Instagram as well. We're on all the social medias talking about our car buying cheat sheets. You may be unfamiliar, but there's a couple ways you can get to the car buying cheat sheets. If you go through the Buy a Car flow right here on the success screen, you will have our cheat sheets. And you can also come right here under research. And if you click on research, this will then take you to our research hub. Once on the research hub page, which is a little slow to load, we know why, and we are getting a fix for that. If you scroll all the way down here, are they here? Deal School, Insights, let's wait for it. Explore more, other, cheat sheet right there. So everything you need is back on caredge.com/research. Anything else? That was all I had. Oh my gosh.
God, somebody's trying to kill me. Since I never get to catch you live.
Tonic ellipse.
Yeah.
We're going to stay on.
Yeah.
Wow, that was incredibly kind.
That is very kind. But apparently, since he never gets to catch us live, we could catch me dying.
What was that, Dad?
They could catch me dying if I just keep doing this.
Let's do something. Let's do something special. Stop.
I stopped.
I want you to get up and walk back towards your blinds, and let's see you actually use your hips a little. For $100, you should.
You want me to what?
For $100, Dad. For $100, you should shake your hips.
I should shake my hips.
Yeah, let's see it.
How about I shake my booty? Huh? How about that? How about that instead? Huh? Is that what you want? Is that the kind of crap you want to have on YouTube? Come on, man. You claim to love me, okay, and then you just want to embarrass me. You want to see if for $100 I would embarrass myself. And the answer is I probably would have done it for less. Okay.
Hey, that was an incredibly generous contribution. And Dad, you're funny man. Yeah, peak Ray. So much Riz in that, Dad. So much Riz.
God.
Thank you, Dreadnought. We appreciate that.
You.
Yeah, that was funny. You're funny, dude.
Well, my theory in life. You got to learn to laugh a little. And if even for just a couple seconds, I can take people's minds off the woes of the world and cause them to put a smile on their face, then it's worth it.
I feel very similar. I think you gave me that characteristic. So
yeah.
Love it, Dad. All right, folks. Well, that was fun. We'll be back tomorrow with something at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern for more CarEdge Live. If we can help you with anything, go check it out, caredge.com. Dad, enjoy the afternoon. I love you very much.
I love you as well, and I'm going to work on my twerk. Work on my twerk, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow we'll have Twerking with the Stars right here on CarEdge Live. Yes.